Well, good morning and welcome. My name is Brent Fields, and I have the pleasure of being the CEO of Morgan's, the umbrella parent organization that oversees all of our Morgan's entities. We're so proud that you could join us today as we once again put a stake in the ground in terms of our commitment to ultra-accessible, fully inclusive ventures. We have a lot of friends here today that we're glad to see again, and Gordon will be thanking and recognizing some folks later in the program, but I want to thank many of our staff, not only from the park, but from across the enterprise. Our Wonder Squad, it's so great to see them back here this season. Let's hear it for them. And then I know we have several of our board members from our different entities. If you're one of our board members, would you wave? Let's give them a hand. Thank you all. So as you know, we're celebrating yet another exciting chapter in the history of the world's first and only theme park designed with those with special needs in mind, but built for everyone's enjoyment. Today's festivities focus on several important Morgan's Wonderland milestones, so just listen to these. Of course, the beginning of the park's 2024 season, our 15th season. Can you believe that? The start of spring break and our daily operation all week long, and as you've been hearing, the largest expansion since the park's reopening or opening back in 2010. By the way, how many of you, I know there's some here, were here for the first season back in 2010? How many of you were part of that first season? Wow, look at that. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, as you're soon going to discover, we've been a little busy during the off season, adding new ultra-accessible, fully inclusive attractions for your enjoyment. Richard's going to talk about them in just a minute. But all told, we've invested over $6.5 million in colorful new rides and experiences. How about that? We think you'll also notice that we've concentrated on just freshening up our existing park facilities, and so we think you'll see some new signs, new paint, just a freshening across the property. We've been guided throughout this process by our mission of inclusion. And at Morgan, we're trying to make the world, not just this park, not just San Antonio, not just Bexar County, but remember, our vision is to spark cultural change and make the world more inclusive. And we know we're doing that because in our 15 years, close to 4 million people from every state in the union and over 120 countries have visited this park and helped us spark that spirit of inclusion. So it's a tremendous point of pride that very opening of the park, anyone and everyone with a special need or disability has been and will continue to be admitted free of charge. Now, before I turn it over to Richard, I'll just say on a personal note, long before I became an employee here, I remember back when my daughter, who's now 15, 3 years old, and we drove from Austin because we'd heard about this magical place. And I remember we had an amazing experience, and as we're driving back home to Austin, of course San Antonio's now our forever home, but I remember saying to my wife, I never knew a place like this could exist. And whether we make it back 100 times or not again, I've got hope that the world can do better for people like our daughter Chloe, and boy, has that been proven true. So, with no further ado, to tell you more about this bold new look and features at the park, I'm proud to introduce Richard Pretlow, our president. And Richard, tell us all about this place.
Thank you, Brent. I certainly appreciate it. And welcome to everyone out there. I'm certainly glad to see all of your faces. I just want to say thank you to Brent and Gordon. As I've told them before, it is a privilege to be a leader. It doesn't just happen, but it's also an honor to be a leader with such a dynamic and progressive organization. So I thank both of them for giving me this opportunity to lead this park. This is truly a special place, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to serve in this capacity and to be able to push forward the mission of inclusion and ultra-accessibility. So thank you for that. So over the past 4 months, as Brent has indicated, we've made a lot of investments and major improvements into Morgan's Wonderland. And some of you have even experienced our new rides this morning, so we're certainly happy about that. Let me take the opportunity to tell you about all of our wonderful new attractions. So I want everybody to count down from 3, and our Wonder Squad behind us is going to reveal our wonderful new attractions. Okay, so is everybody ready? We're going to count down from 3, all right? All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, Wonder Squad. And as you can see, all of our wonderful new attractions, and I'm just going to tell you very quickly about all of them, and after we get done with this, you'll all be able to go out and experience all of our new attractions. So our first new attraction is our 4D Magic Cinema that is in our Sensory Village. This is a very unique, very dynamic attraction that has a very special roller coaster type movie. Now what makes this theater so special is that when we say it's ultra accessible, we truly mean it's ultra accessible. So we worked with an organization called Cimex iWorks, and we first challenged and we said we want a roller coaster type experience that includes everyone. All those who have unique abilities and special abilities, and all those who are in wheelchairs. And they said challenge accepted. And so you will see when you go into that theater that we have special platforms designed for our wheelchair users that gives them the same experience as those who are in the standard chairs. So we're super excited about that attraction. It's also air conditioned, so on those hot San Antonio summer days and you want to cool off a little bit, you can go into the 4D Magic Cinema and you can get a true roller coaster type experience that we are truly excited about. Our second attraction, right behind us, we have an 8-acre lake, and we have a brand new 30-person barge out on the lake. It is very exciting on one of those hot San Antonio days. You really won't be able to cool off out there too much. It is shaded, but you'll be able to take a nice scenic boat ride on our 8-acre lake. It's truly a great experience. This boat is also wheelchair accessible for all of our friends who utilize wheelchairs. So there are no barriers, there are no limitations. We take the extra step to make sure that everybody is included, and it's truly a wonderful attraction. Now, our next attraction is the one that I am the most excited about, the one that everybody can see from Warsbach Parkway. It is our first thrill ride, Rocket Skyflight Adventure. This is a super exciting attraction, 13 stories tall, 130 feet in the air. As a matter of fact, when you are at the top, you can see downtown San Antonio. It is truly an exciting attraction. It is also the first ultra-accessible 4-seater zip line in the world. You will not see it anywhere else, only here at Morgan's Wonderland, and we are truly excited to have such a dynamic attraction as our first thrill ride. And our last attraction is one that I'm also very excited about, and I'd like to recognize, I believe, the vendor for that attraction is here with Zamperla. Jet's Wonder Bikes. So many of you, when you've come into the park, you may have, oh, there goes Mike right there, all right. So folks, just real quick, Mike and the folks at Zamperla, they have truly been a wonderful partner to us here at Morgan's Wonderland. If you don't know, we actually have 2 Zamperla attractions. Our Ferris wheel, which is also ultra accessible, is another Zamperla attraction, and they have just been a wonderful partner. We are thrilled to work with them both now and in the future. So Mike, and to Mr. Zamperla as well, who I know is not here, but we just want to thank you for all you do with all of your all-access attractions. We certainly appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing this partnership. Jet's Wonder Bikes, for those of you who have come to the park before, you may have noticed that an older attraction has been retired. Our off-road adventure is no longer there, but our Jet's Wonder Bike has taken the place of that attraction. That is another ultra-accessible attraction where all of our friends who utilize wheelchairs will be able to experience that attraction. And what is unique about that is that it has 2 special features on it. So if you would like to go up in the air, it does have foot pedals that you pedal much like a bicycle, and you get to soar in the air. But guess what? If you are a wheelchair user, user and you're not able to use the bike pedals, there are hand cranks that allow you to also be able to soar in the air. It is a truly exciting attraction, and we are very excited to have it here. We're very excited for everybody here to experience all of our new attractions. Again, folks, we have done a lot to improve the park. It's not just our new rides, but every single square inch of the park has been touched. All of our bathrooms have been updated. We have added 4 adult-sized changing tables across the park to make sure that for those of you who need that feature, we have it there available for you. We have made additions onto several of our buildings to make sure that we can accommodate all of our friends with all abilities. So it's not just new rides. We have truly invested into the park to make sure that we are not only the best attraction in the world, but we are the most accessible attraction in the world, guys. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have all of you here, and I hope you spend the day with us and enjoy Morgan's Wonderland. And don't forget that we have Morgan's Inspiration Island that will be opening in May, and you'll see some great changes over there too, guys. Again, thank you. And I'd like to introduce Gordon.
Thank you very much, Richard. And also thank you, Brent. You know, it's not feasible to do things like what we're talking about here today without 2 wonderful leaders, such as Brent and Richard. Thank you guys so much for all that y'all have done. I want to say, I would normally say good morning, but you know, I'm going to say great morning. What a great morning this is. You agree? What an incredible morning. The weather is absolutely perfect. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. Jeff is here from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the weather, making sure we had perfect weather. Really appreciate that so much. And I also want to start by introducing 2 people who are incredibly important to Morgan's Wonderland. And I want to begin with Morgan's mom, Maggie. She's right up here. I want to introduce her. She'll stand and be recognized. Many people don't know this, but Maggie's behind the scenes many times nudging me with different ideas and thoughts about how we can make ultra-accessible even more ultra-accessible. So thank you so much, Maggie. And of course, the person who is the inspiration behind everything Morgan's, and that is our beautiful daughter, Morgan. Morgan, will you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone who's here this morning with us, what a wonderful day. You know, we've been talking about how we opened in 2010. Many of you, those who know me, know that I like to talk about numbers, and you know, it's about 5,000 days ago when we opened. We opened about 5,000 days ago, or 14 years, and Morgan's Wonderland since then, as Brent mentioned, has welcomed over 3 million people. 3 million people have come to Morgan's Wonderland during that time, and they've experienced something that they can't experience anywhere else in the world. Now, I will tell you the beautiful thing about Morgan's Wonderland is there's parts and pieces of Morgan's Wonderland throughout the country and throughout the world, because slowly there's an adaptation to bring about a more ultra-accessible, fully inclusive world. They've come to witness the only park of its type, and we're so glad that you're here today to be part of what we refer to as our oasis of inclusion. That's really what Morgan's Wonderland is. That's what we're all about. Because of great success, it has taken time. We wanted to take the time over the past 98 days to really bring back the shine to Morgan's Wonderland. When you have that many people coming through, and even though you're doing the general maintenance, it takes a little bit of time out to say, we want to make sure that we're always MQ. MQ means Morgan's quality. And we felt it was time to really make sure that we did everything we needed to ensure that this park was actually 100%, 110% Morgan's quality. Now, as was mentioned by Richard, there are 4 new rides here. And these rides are absolutely incredible. And they were included in a list of 592 items that had to be done in 98 days. Think about that. Think of a to-do list that you have. And you might have 10, 15, 20 things on it. You might have a certain amount of time. How would you like to be given a to-do list of 592 things, including 4 new rides, and say, you have 98 days to do it? Well, the beautiful thing is that we are able to be here today because we accomplished that. When I say we, there were so many people who made this possible. So many people. Yes, give them a round of applause. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce the folks who have played a major role in making this all possible. But you know, we're proud of everything we do between Morgan's Wonderland. Thank you. Between Morgan's Wonderland, Morgan's Inspiration Island, Morgan's Sports, Morgan's Camp, the Multi-Assistance Center, and so many other things that we have that are going to be upcoming in the next few years. We're going to be building a new facility to assist our friends who have acute special needs. We're going to be building an inclusive campus, Morgan's Inclusion Campus, that will break ground in about a month. We're going to be building a new fitness center that's going to ensure that everybody can be together when it comes to working out and enjoying activities of that type. And we're also going to be working on, and aggressively working on, so that hopefully in the next couple of years, we will introduce to the world the first ultra-accessible, fully inclusive hotel ever built. As I mentioned, there were a lot of people who made sure that we could make this possible. One mistake I'll make here is I will not be able to introduce everybody. But there are key folks that I really want to make sure that I talk about this morning, that I mention their names to you, because without them, we would not be here this morning. There were hundreds of contractors, hundreds of vendors, hundreds of suppliers who had to come together to make today possible. And I want to name a few of those folks, and I'd like for them to stand if they would. And please hold your applause, because at the end, I want to ask that we give them an incredible round of applause. Because they're the people who really made all this possible. They're the people who worked through the night. They're the people who didn't take weekends off so that this was possible. They're the people who did everything they could, and even missed sometimes, I'll mention, missing Christmas, to make sure that they were here to ensure that Morgan's Wonderland was complete and ready on time. So I'm going to recognize a few folks that have been a part of this. First of all, I'd like to ask Jim Mary to stand. Jim. I'd like to ask Tracy Ochoa to stand. Casey Keck. Corey Sanders. Sharon Newhart. Jamie Johnson. Mary Worth. Hugo Hernandez. Galen Church. Casey Page. Travis Edwards. Our architect who originally designed Morgan's Wonderland, started some 16 years ago with us and has been part of Morgan's, Robert Luna. And of course our president, Richard Pretlow. There's more to come, folks, a few more folks. I want to also ask three people to come to the stage. First of all, will Guillermo Galarza please come to the stage? Guillermo. And also I'd like to ask Roger Cordillo to come to the stage. As they're coming to the stage, these are two gentlemen who, when we contacted them and gave them that list of 592 things, they looked at us and said, we're going to do everything we can to ensure that you open for spring break. It was an incredible task for them to be able to do. But then I'd like to ask Josh Gertner to come up as well. Josh was the leader of the pack. He was the person, head this way, Josh. He was the person who was the leader. He was the person who brought everybody together. All the vendors that I talked about, all the suppliers that I talked about. Josh was the person who, as I mentioned, someone missed Christmas. He canceled his trip to go up northeast so he could be here because he knew how important it was. He is the person who spent a whole night here, all the way through the night, making sure that everything was put together. And so the reason I've asked these three men to come up here is because it's important that we recognize those who are standing, and we recognize Roger, Guillermo, and Josh, because without them, we would not be here today, and this is how we make things possible here at Morgan's Wonderland. Josh said, hurry up, I got to get back to work. Thank you guys so much for all that y'all have done over the past 98 days. And there's more work to do. As y'all know, as Richard mentioned, we're going to be moving next door to Morgan's Inspiration Island, which will be opening in May of this year. And we got some work to do over there as well. Now, Morgan's Inspiration Island's only been open 7 years, half the time Morgan's has. But there's some things that we need to do over there to make sure it's MQ, Morgan's quality. As was mentioned earlier, 4.1 million people have had their lives in some way affected by Morgan's, whether it be here or any of the other entities that we have. 4.1 million people from all over the world. That's an incredible feat. And we know through all the different activities that we have this year that we will have another 350,000 people in 2024 that will be affected in a positive way and will understand inclusiveness in a whole different way because of what Morgan's has to offer. But I often tell people, ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started. We are just getting started. 5,000 days ago, we opened up Morgan. Just think we'll be 5,000 days from now, 10,000 days from now. The future is incredibly bright. And we're so thankful to each of you for being here, because without your support, without you being a part of what we offer, you being here makes it so much easier for us. It gives us a kind of a jump to our step, if you will. It allows me as a person who's involved with working with such wonderful people like this to be able to wake up early every morning and go to bed late at night, sending emails and talking about ways that we can make things so much better to bring about a more inclusive world. So I have to say to you with confidence, with utmost confidence, that together, all of us, we are making a difference. We are making a difference. Now I'm going to turn the podium back over to Brent, but before I do that, I just want to end with this. You've heard a lot of what has made this possible, but now is the time, let's go have some fun. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Gordon. Well, Gordon's usually the one recognizing everybody else, but I just want to, on a personal note, say thanks to Gordon and Maggie for their vision. And my friends here with special needs and disabilities, you'll understand this, but for everybody else, let me just explain that for a second. It isn't just one of the only places in the world where you can have access and do things that you can't do anywhere else. But for a family like ours, that Ferris wheel was the first time in our life that my daughter could do something along with me, my wife, my very typical son, and even though she was in a gondola that could accommodate her wheelchair, all four of us had the same experience at the same time together, and that just almost never happens anywhere in the world but here. And so I'm so grateful, Maggie, for you and Gordon having the vision, not just to make a place where our folks like Chloe could have access, but where our families could have that enjoyment together. And I see a lot of those families here today, so I know you're going to have a great time. I do want to say thanks to a lot of our vendors who made this special ceremony possible, to Texas Sugar Daddies, what a great name, by the way, for the wonderful cookies. And if you're one of the 100 guests with a black wristband, we want you to make your way over to the table over here to my left and be one of the first to get our Fiesta medal. So make sure you do that. And then we're going to go have some fun and enjoy some rides. Am I missing anything, Mary? Is that everything? Thank you again. Thanks for being the reason why we do this. Have a great time, and happy spring break.